house that was set on fire, but it disappeared instead. Tonight in Mysteries That Unexplained, we explain what actually happened. It was never there in the first place. It was all made up. I made it all up. Thank you and good night.
I can edit that out. I can edit it out.
Outtakes! Yeah!
Or keep it in.
Let go. Mwah.
Love you.
Love you too. Oh, start on it. Putting the what noise kettle on.
It is full. It's full. Oh God, we're having a good day today, aren't we?
Yeah. Coffee?
Yes, please.
Decaf?
No, full fat, please.
Okay. I'll be quiet.
Really? Oh, James. Right, where was I? I haven't even started yet, have I?
Sure you want to keep recording? Shall we stop and start again?
No, I'm going to put this on the video.
No.
So, hi everyone. I say everyone, on my last video got like 11 views, so. Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome back, or welcome, I'm Wendy, if you've not been here before. I have a very, very small fledgling crochet / knitting / sewing business. I also sell second-hand books on eBay, after I've read them of course. And I'm going to be selling my Magic the Gathering collection as well, because I just don't play it anymore, so it's just taking up space in a very cluttered house. I was going to try and do a weekly video, but that hasn't happened. Let me just be quiet for a second because of the kettle. Or hot cup, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, a video once a week hasn't really happened, but I'm going to really try this month. This is just a video for sort of what I've made in June. I keep wanting to say May, but it's not May anymore, it's the end of June. Oh yeah, I'm just confusing myself on my script. My whips. A channel that I have ordered some patterns off that are really, really good, and I really recommend. So if any of you are knitters, recommend this channel. I'll get to that. And then later on I'm going to move on to my book stuff, so you can stop if you're here just for the knitting and crochet. If you're here for the books, then you can skip to that part, and after that I'll be talking about some gaming stuff, because me and my partner game, and I wanted to sort of add it in, talk about what we're doing, because, you know, why not, and some budget recipes, and then weight loss as well. Basically this video and this whole channel reflects the way my brain works. It's a little bit of everything, a little bit all the time. I can't really sit and zero in on one thing at a time. There's lots of different things that I like to do, and yeah, the channel reflects that. Anyway, moving on. So what I've made in June. June was a bit of a month where I made a lot of stuff but didn't finish it. So there's not that many finished products, but there is a lot of stuff that I'm still working on. It's sort of like one of those months where you do a lot of work and don't have a lot at the end of it. Don't know why, it's just the way it's happened. It's been a bit of a manic month outside of this sort of thing as well. We had like sports days and lots of school stuff and some days out, and potentially moving house, which we're probably not going to do now. There was getting all that done, and inspections and things like that, work on the house, still trying to decorate. Obviously I have a very energy limiting illness, so I can only do a bit at a time, and then I have to stop, and then pick it up again later, and then I have to stop, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to do crochet and knitting, things like that as a business, because it doesn't use up too much energy, it's not too taxing, so even when I'm having a flare-up, I can still do it, which works for me. Sort of conventional work, I used to work in care, and I just couldn't do the physical side of it. Then I worked at a retail store, really struggled with the physical side of it, because I was having a lot of flare-ups. Since I've come out of that and started doing this, the flare-ups have been less. I'm still having them, but they're not as severe and they're less. James, what are you doing?
Just heading upstairs. I was trying not to get in shot.
Okay, I just see you edging around the room.
He.
So yeah, that's sort of how the month's been. We all got ill as well. Again, always seem to be ill. I don't know. So yeah, what I've made. So I don't. Is it in the shop?
Yeah.
Yeah. I made a summer halter neck thing. I can't remember the name of the lady who done the tutorial, so I will write it down in the description box, and hopefully link it if I can. We'll see, because I'm not very technically savvy. So yeah, I made this, and this is lovely. It's the first time I've made anything like this, made out of cotton yarn, and it's really nice, and it worked up really quite quickly actually. This was one of the things. I think it didn't take me that many long, took me a few hours, that's all. So yeah, and I really like that. It's really nice. That's already up in my Etsy or eBay. I can't remember which one I put it on. I mentioned these on my last video, these little headbands from Sheila's Just Knitting that I made, and I said I needed to put buttons on, so I've put the buttons on, and I do absolutely love them, and they are up on Etsy and eBay, I believe. I think I put them on both. My mum, I mentioned in the last video that my son only likes tube socks, so I made him some because he wanted me to make him some in very specific colours. My mum saw them, really liked them, and asked me to make her a pair, so I've made my mum a pair. She's going to be using them instead of slippers because she keeps falling over, and she thinks it's because of the slippers, because she's only fallen over when she's wearing them. So she's going to give these a try and see if that works. My mum is not elderly, she still works full time, she's only in her late 50s, but she keeps falling over and she thinks it's the slippers. So she's going to give those a try at home, because she's only doing it at home, not when she's out, not anywhere else, not when she's at work, just at home. So we'll see. It could just be because she's rushing around too much, which is more likely. We also made a couple of hats. So I knitted a rainbow hat, little garter stitch hat. It's really comfy and cozy. I've not listed that yet, but I will. And then I crocheted one as well. Again, little beanie, rainbowy colours. I really do like the colours on these balls. They're only from Pound Stretcher, so they've put their prices up really high, so I don't go there anymore. But yeah, done those. Really like those. They will be listed. I also done 3 of the, obviously I need to weave in the ends, but I've done 3 more beanies in this brown colour. I did do a knitted one, but I gifted that to my dad because they're the type that he likes. So just like the rainbow one, I done with this yarn as well, because he likes the ones where you can fold them back. He doesn't like the all-in-one ones, so he was happy with that, as far as I know. Made some scrunchies. Again, I'll get to later because they're in this box, and obviously I can't get to them right now because it's covered. But I could. I'll just take these off. So yeah, in this box, it's my scrunchy shoe box. So let me just put these ones in. And it's got loads of scrunchies in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some more, but I was thinking of doing some scrunchy pick and mix bags, if you know what I mean. So you get like a small, medium and large bag of scrunchies. My daughter loves these scrunchies, and she comes back from school and tells me that her friends ask about them and love them as well, so hopefully I can sell some. And I've got, this is one of my whips. Just put that there. Close this box back up, and I think that is pretty much it for all of that I've finished. Oh no, it's not. Bear with me. It's very organised. I finally finished the hood of the hoodie that I needed to get done. I said about on the last video. So I've finally done that. That's done. Now my whips. So this is going to eventually be a blanket. Obviously I need more squares. I had to think then. It's sparkly yarn. I'm going to be doing pink and white, purple and white, yellow and white, and a sort of minty green and white. My daughter asked for a sort of shabby unicorn patch themed patchwork blanket. So I'm working on that. She seems happy with it so far. Not happy that it's not done yet, but I only started it a couple of days ago, so it's not going to be done yet. It takes a lot longer than that. Another whip. Again, this is the thing that was meant to be my mum's Mother's Day present, but it's not finished yet. So we bought her a gin glass just to tide her over. Probably be done by her birthday, but this is, I spoke about it in a previous video. It's a nice shawl, or it will be, made out of yarn that used to be my nanny's, my grandmother's, before she passed away. And Mum was saying that she doesn't really have enough stuff from like nanny. So I thought I'll make it, and then when she's wearing it, it could be like a hug from her mum. So, and she's very happy. I did ask her first if I could do it, and I did say that, yeah, I've got this idea, would it be appropriate? And she said, yeah. So that is being done, but it's very fine yarn and it takes a long time, and I have to actually concentrate on that one. So not all the time. This is a scrap yarn blanket. It's going to be a bedspread once it's done. So all the little bits of yarn that I have left over from other things that I can't really make much out of, just combining together to make a bedspread. So because I like this sort of style blankets, and I love granny square blankets or granny blankets, they're lovely. So making that. I only started on that the same time I started on this. Obviously I've got more done because my partner and I have been watching the Indiana Jones films in succession, ready for when the new one's out. I don't think it's out yet. Is it, James?
Next week.
Next week, comes out next week, or end of this week. So I've just been doing that because I can watch and crochet that one. I don't really have to look very much because it's a nice easy mindless stitch. So obviously I've got more done, plus it works up quicker than knitting. It's just how it is. Still haven't finished my stepdad's Father's Day present. I don't quite like how it's working up. I think I might take it apart and knit it instead, because he does prefer knitting to crocheted stuff. So I might take that apart and just knit it. But I keep changing my mind. I keep getting halfway through and taking it apart and starting again. So I need to stop doing that. But this again is only in spare time. It's not during my working hours, because obviously I'm not selling that. And final whip, and it leads into the next thing that I wanted to talk about as well. This is a little 16-inch, it's meant to be a rosebud cardigan, but I was yarning over wrong. So, or yarn forward wrong, wool forward, as the lady who done the pattern puts it. So it's not quite, but there's still a little pattern on there. It's a 16-inch cardigan. I've never knitted a cardigan like this before, and I'm really thoroughly enjoying doing it. I mean, I've been able to knit since I was about 6, but I've never really tried anything too taxing. It's mainly been squares, hats, scarves, blankets. Not really tried anything where there's a lot of decreasing, increasing, and patterns and things like that, which I wanted to start trying because, you know, it's fun and enjoyable, and I just really love it. So that's her pattern. The lady's name is Sheila, and I've mentioned her before. She's the one who done the ear warmer tutorial on one of her channels. The pattern she mentions on both of her channels, so it's Sheila's Just Knitting and Sheila's Knitting Tips and Other Stuff. I've subscribed to her about a year ago, I think it was, and she posts pretty much every day, very nearly every day. And I love her videos. I think they're fantastic and brilliant, but she also sells knitting patterns in hard copy. I got her bargain pack, which was £7.50 for 5 different patterns, but then the patterns have different sizes as well, so you know, it works out it's really budget friendly. But her single patterns are only £2.50 as well. She sells them on eBay and Etsy, and they are a written pattern, and they are absolutely fantastic patterns. I do struggle with patterns. I struggle to follow patterns because, you know, concentration and things, but these ones are really easy to follow. They work up really well. They are fantastic, and she has tutorials on her Just Knitting channel to coincide with the patterns, so that if you're not sure about anything written in the patterns, you can go and find the tutorial, and it makes it a lot easier, which is what I've done. I've had both on. I've used the written pattern and had the tutorial on if I wasn't quite sure. But the unsureness is not a problem with the pattern, it's a problem with me because I'm not used to patterns. So, but it's fantastic, and she's really good, and I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning her on this, but I do really like her channel. She's one of my favourite channels, actually. So I thought I'd give her a mention. I'm going to be making a lot of her cardigans because they're just really easy to make and really fun. So yeah, I think that is everything from the crochet and knitting perspective that I wanted to talk about. There are some more things that I've got planned to make, some videos that are half done, which I will finish, but obviously it's having the time to actually sit and record when there's other people in the house and things being done to the house. It's not quite that often I can sit down and have it quiet enough to actually record a video, so that's just how it is. So that is the crochet and knitting stuff done. So if you're just here for that, you can go now, it's fine. If you want to stay and watch the rest, I'm happy with that as well, not going to complain. So alongside doing this, one of my massive hobbies is reading, and I do love reading. I don't get a lot of time to read anymore because life is so busy, but I do love reading, and I wanted to include my love of reading on my channel. You know, all my kids enjoy reading, my partner likes reading, although he enjoys audiobooks more because it means you can get on and do stuff. I do as well. I've got an Audible account. If I get it right, can't speak today. And I listen to audiobooks alongside reading when I'm busy, so when I'm crocheting or knitting or out and about on headphones or cleaning or, you know, any of it. Even when I'm cooking, I will either watch a YouTube video, or listen to an audiobook, and or music, because I do like music, depends on the mood. So yeah, I finally managed to get my February book calendar book finished, Dreamcatcher by Stephen King. It's a fantastic book. It's not the first time I read it. The last time I read it, I think I was in high school, so it's like, what, 20 years ago, nearly. I think I read it in 2000. No, it was 2003. I think I read it. It's in year 10.
I don't know.
So yeah, this was my February book calendar book. I have read other books in between, but yeah, I love this book. It's really good, and I'm hoping James will read it soon as well. So I finished that yesterday afternoon, I think it was. It took me all week to finish this book, and I got quite frustrated because I'm like, it shouldn't be taking me this long, but again, not a lot of time to read. So I've done that, and I picked my news book, and this is the new book I'm going to be reading, Howl's Moving Castle. It is an animated movie, a Studio Ghibli movie, and I've seen the movie, and one of James's friends lent him about 6 books, and this is the 3rd one of her books that I've read, and I'm only about 20 pages in, so I can't really give you an opinion yet, but I'm really excited to be reading that, and I don't think it'll take me as long because it's not as big a book. So I have that one. I also would like to read, got a couple of library books. This is James's one, The Handmaid's Tale. Now I've just binge watched the series and I really want to read this. This is a graphic novel of it though, not the original novel. So I really would like to read this when he's done, but he's taken forever to read that as well. So just waiting for that. But they have got to go back at the end of the week, so I would like to read it next if possible. Yes, I'm looking at you, James. And then I've got this one. I did start reading it while I was out, but I haven't finished it yet, which is it's called Warrior: A Life of War in Anglo-Saxon Britain. Now, another one of my hobbies is history. I love anything to do with history, and every now and then I read a non-fiction book, and this is the one I picked this time, so I will be reading that when I get time as well, hopefully before the end of the week. That's sort of an evening thing. I read a lot when James has work, because we watch a lot of series and we game a lot together, so when he's not available for that, I usually read, which is good because I like reading. I love reading. So they're the up and coming books that I want to read. And I think that is the book stuff done. I might do a video on my favourite books. Before I had children and lots of work and lots of busyness, I used to read a lot. I used to read probably about 5 books a week. That was an average, depending on the size of the book. I read well over 100 books a year. Now it's nowhere near that. It's maybe a book a week, maybe a little bit more depending on the size of the book. But I do have some favourite genres, favourite book series, but they're not really brand new series. They're older because, you know, books are being produced every day and it's hard to keep up. Although there is one, Peter V. Brett series. His new book came out, was it last year, James? It was. I got for my birthday last year, and I devoured that book because his Demon Cycle books are amazing. They are fabulous. If you like that sort of thing, if you like, it's high fantasy, isn't it, James? Do you think it's high fantasy?
Definitely fantasy.
Yeah, definitely a fantasy. If you like that sort of thing, it's well worth reading. It starts off with The Painted Man, and there's 5 books in that first one, and then this one, it's like an extension of the Demon Cycle anyway. It's called The Desert Prince, the most recent one that he's done, and it's a huge book, but it was devoured very quickly, and I absolutely love the books, you know. They're one of my favourites. Are right up there with the Harry Potters for me on my favourite book list, and David Gemmell's books. But yeah, that's it for book stuff. Also, James recently done a hot air balloon flight and has asked me to edit the videos into a bigger video, and kindly said that I could upload it onto my channel, so that will be coming up sometime soon. There is 40 videos that I need to edit into one video, so it's going to take me a little while. He got lots and lots of footage, so yeah, that's going to be up and coming as and when I get time. And that's just a little random thing to add in there. I did say I was going to touch on gaming, so I do like to game. I have lots of hobbies, lots and lots of hobbies. Gaming is one of them. Me and James and I game a lot together. We mainly play at the minute Stardew Valley. Very surprised that James has got a bit addicted to that alongside me. Stardew Valley is right up my alley for gaming things, but not so much James, but he's loving it. We're working together. Doing really well, aren't we?
Yep.
We're marching along on it. We're now we're coming up for year 4 on it. So I'm really enjoying it. Playing it on the days when he hasn't got work and we can start up in the evening and play when the kids are all asleep and everything else is done. I've also got quite addicted to Minecraft Dungeons. It's a bit of a poor man's Diablo, really. I really like it. I've really enjoyed it. And I can't have the new Diablo 4, until my birthday. So I need something similar to keep me occupied.
Keep you out of trouble.
Keep me out of trouble, yeah. keep me busy. Being busy like this, having all these different hobbies, help keep my anxiety at bay. It helps stop me have like anxiety flares and things. And again, games, reading, and like all the things that I do, they don't flare up my symptoms of my chronic illness. So they're really good for me if I'm trying to not overdo it, if I'm trying to maintain my energy levels, if I haven't got enough spoons to do anything more physical for that day. I can sit and play something a bit mindless. Like Minecraft Dungeons for me is quite mindless. I don't really have to concentrate on what I'm doing. Same for Stardew. I also have on my phone Merge Dragons and Heyday. Again, these are all things that I can play mindlessly when I've got brain fog and things like that, and I don't really need to concentrate. But it stops me from wallowing and stops me from getting anxious, because if I just sit and have nothing to occupy myself with, I start then getting into the anxiety spirals and catastrophizing, and it's not good, and then it makes my flare up worse. So it's nice to have something to just occupy. I don't know if other people with the same condition as me do the same thing. Certainly my cousin, she did something similar. She played Heyday a lot because it's not physical. She could still do it. Her conditions are a lot worse than mine. She had a lot more flare-ups than mine. She seems to be quite stable and doing well now though, so that's good. Yeah, it's just what works for me. Everyone's different, obviously, but for me it helps me keep steady energy levels because I'm not constantly overdoing it. What I used to do was be on my feet all day, every day, trying to do everything. I'd have a massive flare up and end up in bed for days and days and days. So, and that is something that I really, really want to avoid. I don't want to keep feeling like that. So anything that helps, I'm all for it. That's what I'm doing. That's it for the gaming and everything like that. The next one is food related. So obviously everyone's feeling the pinch with cost of living and all of this, everything's going up. And I did want to start doing some budget recipes, but I keep forgetting to take pictures of what we're eating. So that's something that I need to remember to do now, because I'm trying to do some budget family meals for sort of families of 5 or more, because a lot of my meals that I make, we have leftovers and we eat that. So it would work for bigger families as well. Trying to keep a budget and that. I lived on my own for a long time before I had children, lived on my own with the children for a long time before I met James, and budgeting was a very big part of that, being a single parent or solo living. Obviously you have to be careful about your finances to make sure that you can pay all your bills and everything like that. Well, not working 100 hours a week just to afford that. You need to be able to have some balance and still be able to do some fun stuff as well. So that's something I'd like to build on here, because if it helps other people, then fantastic. So many people are having to go to food banks, and there's no shame in it, but it shouldn't be necessary. It should not. There is enough for everyone. So there should be enough for everyone to be able to eat. And it gets scary, some of the things that we hear, especially local to where we are. People are relying on food banks more and more and more, and it just shouldn't have to happen. There is no shame in it, but it shouldn't be this way. There's too much profiteering going on, and I just think it's wrong, and just trying to help in any way I can, really. And as I'm not in a financial situation to be able to physically help people, giving them ideas for ways to stretch their money hopefully will help. On top of that, I am trying to lose weight, and I am actually losing weight. I've lost over a stone now. I've lost about 1 stone 4 pounds, and I forgot about my coffee. James is now giving it to me, thank you. So I'm doing quite well with the weight loss as well, but obviously everything takes time, and I have the issue of that I want it all sorted now, and obviously I don't have the ability to do that. You can't lose weight just like that. It does take time, it takes work, it takes effort, and that's what I'm trying to do. But also bear in mind that I have an entire family to feed. Everyone likes different things. Children can be a bit fussy, so I need to sort of have that balance between cost, healthiness, and what everyone will eat, so that I'm not cooking separate meals and spending too much money and everything like that. There's got to be an overlap there at some point, which I'm now finding a bit easier, especially as the kids are getting a bit older. They're less fussy now, apart from one. For the most part, they're less fussy now. They'll eat a lot, and they mainly eat what we give them. If they wanted junk food, or if they could have junk food all the time, they would. But we don't do that. We want it to be quite healthy as well, because, you know, we don't want any health issues later on in life. We try not to focus. We don't make a big deal of what we're eating though, because I don't want them. As someone, when I was younger, I had quite disordered eating, and because I wanted to be skinny, I really, really wanted to be skinny all the time. So when I was younger, when I was a teenager, more specifically, people said stuff to me and they commented about how much I ate or what I was doing, and I wasn't overweight, but it made me so paranoid or worried about what I was eating that I stopped eating, was eating less, eating little things, hiding how much I was eating from people because I really wanted to lose weight. and there was so much judgment there. I do not want to do that to my children. I want them to be happy and have no eating issues, no body image issues, or as many as we can avoid, because obviously people do judge and people do say things, and they don't mean it. They don't realise what they're saying, and I don't want my kids to worry about that. My kids aren't overweight. They are very healthy weight. My partner's very healthy weight. I'm the only one who's overweight, and I eat less than any of them. So work that one out. But I just don't want them to worry. I don't want them to have to worry. As a parent, I want them to have it better, easier, whatever, than I had it. You know, my life wasn't awful, but there were some things that I found really hard that I don't want them to struggle with. I want them to be prepared. I also want them to be quite self-sufficient when they're older, so they don't have to have this steep, sudden learning curve of how to budget, how to organise bills, how to, you know, all of this stuff that I wasn't aware of until I actually lived on my own and then had to learn all of a sudden. You know, I knew we didn't have a lot of money growing up. When my mum was a single mum when I was younger, until she met my stepdad when I was 9. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, and I did have a sense of that, but mum tried so hard to make me not worry that I didn't understand how hard it is to afford a house and run a house and clean a house and all of that. That was all a learning curve as I was older, because mum tried to shield me from a lot of that, because, you know, children shouldn't have to worry about their parents' problems. And she worked so hard at that, but she kept doing it when I was a teenager as well, which she probably shouldn't have. Maybe if I'd have been more aware, and schools don't really teach about that sort of thing either. That's not a criticism on my mum. She done what she thought was best, and she's a fantastic mother. She always have been. I just found it quite hard because it was just expected when you move out that you just suddenly know how to do this stuff, and if you've not been taught, I was lucky because my mum and my nanny both taught me how to cook, and I think that side of thing was easy. I could do that, and I did budget cooking without realising I was doing budget cooking, because that's what mum did and nanny did. But other stuff like bills and outgoings and incomings and all of that, it took a long time for me to learn that, and even quite honest, even now I'm still learning a bit, but we'll get there. And if I can help other people along the way, then why not? But yeah, I think that is everything for today. I keep trying to convince James to do some gaming stuff with me, but he's worried that he doesn't have the personality to be a gamer, video person, streamer. I know what word I mean. I think he does, but I'm going to keep working on him on that one, because I think he'd enjoy it as well. I think it's something he would enjoy, and he'd find more time to be able to do it as well if it was something he thought other people were interested in. My children are chomping at the bit to make some YouTube videos and that, but I think they're too young. So maybe when they're older, if they still want to, if it's still going on, it's their choice. But yeah, I think that is everything for today. Do you want to come say bye, James?
Bye, James.
Yeah, I think that's everything for today, and hopefully another video in a week. There will be some shorts coming up throughout the week, and maybe another video this week. We'll just see how we go. So yeah, take care everyone, stay safe, and hopefully see you again soon. Bye.
Press the stop button, master. Sorry, master. I pressed the button.
I was about to get up and do
I'm
it.
sorry, master.